Hello everybody, I'm Mark Pedersen with Midwest Trackchair in Marshall, Minnesota. Today I'm at the factory for the Action Trackchair's Action Manufacturing to go over a few of the features and safety guidelines that we have for the Action Trackchairs. Just to get you a little bit oriented toward it, we actually have some guidelines that are with the owner's manual that we like to go through. First of all, one person in the track chair at a time. One person is really what they're made for. Seat belt use recommended. This is the lap belt that would go right over the waist, and then we do have some of them that do have the shoulder bolts with the clips. Do not navigate the track chair on more than a 20-degree slope. They'll do that. As you get used to the track chairs, you'll kind of know those limitations. But just be careful, especially at first, if you're not familiar with the chairs. They will climb inclines enough to tip over, so it's something to watch. When climbing over small logs and curbs, approach that incline at an angle and don't go directly towards it. Make sure the controls are in the off position too, so when you're transferring and getting on and off of the track chair, you don't actually start to move the chair by hitting the joystick. Always have a backup plan. When you're navigating somewhere, maybe think about how you're going to turn around and how you're going to get out of that situation. Do not ride the track chair during loading and unloading into the vehicle or the trailer. When you're talking about those inclines and things like that, you need to be extra careful, and then just be cognizant of that, because you could turn into something with the wheelie bars or whatever. Action Manufacturing does not recommend riding the track chair, the track standers of our model that actually stands up only on level terrain. Your center of gravity raises up when you're driving the chair in the upright position. So, failure to know the limits can cause personal injury and equipment damage, so always be careful with that. And that is right in the owner's manual, something to look at. Hopefully you got a copy when you're about to get in the chair that you can see. Also, another safety guideline, going with the water that these can go through, keeping it to about that 7 to 10 inches max. I usually say up to the idler wheels would be about the level of water that you want to go through. Next would be the joystick. Those controls and operations would be an important part for you to know that operation. Alright, now we've got the different camera view of the joystick. Main power button on the top here. On some track chairs out there, if you press and hold that, you'll actually lock the chair. It's now a feature that's taken out of them, but here we are, we have it on, and now we can actually go over the controls. We're in speed setting 5. That's just the amount of voltage going from the motor controller to the motors. If we want to turn that down or go slower, you arrow button down. So by arrowing down, the chair is going to go slower. It's 1 through 5. 5 being the most voltage to the motor controller to the motor. So that's the fastest. Now we've got the horn. Easy peasy. The mode switch, typically not used on the ST models. You can actually, on their standards, you would change the mode, and then the joystick would be used to lift up the chair. On this one, it's the ST model, so it does not have a function. If these chairs had blinkers on it, we would use the arrows, the left and right arrows. These are not used on these models as well. This chair has a light on it, so we have the on-off switch with the light, and then obviously with our directions, we can actually go forward, backward, left and right with the joystick. And that's pretty much all there is to the joystick controls. Alright, now comfort adjustments with the track chairs for each particular person. We have some adjustability for each individual. Things like footrest, like this, by pulling these pins, you can actually adjust that up and down based on your leg length and stuff. So for comfort, up or down, 3 or 4 notches to that. So you can adjust the footrest. Some of them have a flip-up footrest part of them. This one is the solid style. But adjustability there. And then we've also got the tilt switch right here on the opposite side of the joystick usually is the tilt switch. And some people will use this for actual transfers in and out too, but this is mainly for the terrain. If you're on a hill, if you're going to go up a hill, you would actually tilt it all the way forward, and then that keeps your body position level. So you have that adjustability. It gives you more security when you're actually traversing the more difficult terrain. Also, maybe you're going to stop and do some shooting, or if you're going to stop and do some whatever you're going to do, there's a pin to pull on the latest models of the Action Trackchairs, where you can actually lift it up and both arms would go up. Simply pull the pin. So you have freedom of motion. Or if you want to have one side up, one side down, it doesn't matter. But great way to move about. And really with comfort, there's different seating and things like that too, but covers that pretty much. Alright, now I'd like to talk to you about some more of the functions from the back side of the chair. So let me turn it around here for you. On the back side of the Action Trackchairs, we do have a couple of things that we'd like to talk about. First of all, these are the electric motors. Say you're out and about and you need to, you're stuck somewhere, need to get pulled, or maybe you're out and the batteries are dead or something. You can actually release these motors by going outward. You can see the brake level position sticker here. Normal operation is actually into the center. So inward is functioning. So you actually get a code up on the joystick that if you have these disengaged, so it actually will tell you. The owner's manual does have those pictures of the different codes that do come up and what they mean and how to troubleshoot. So engaged means you're going into the middle. The next thing on the back side of the track chair here is actually the onboard charger. This is the Dual Pro. This is the 20 amp. There's 2 banks, each bank for each battery. There's a little holder in here that holds the 110 plug-in. If you run an extension cord to this, you can actually plug in and charge your batteries. This is zip tied underneath. You don't want to get in the tracks and stuff, so we actually recommend bringing the cord to the charger like this. So you just simply plug it in. You'll actually get the lights that actually go through the whole charging process. There's actually 5 red lights that go up all the way through. Goes to a flashing green. Once that flashing green on each bank goes to a solid green, it turns to a maintainer. So it actually will be a little trickle charger sort of feature to actually keep your batteries maintained. So we actually recommend keeping the chairs plugged in, good to maintain the battery. So you get it fully charged, turns into a maintainer. There you go. All right, and now we've got actually just a little bit of information about the basic maintenance, cleaning instructions. Really, if you do worry about it, it's going to be something you can just take an air hose to, get the pieces out and clear it off, and then using like a garden hose to get it. Just always being careful not to get the joystick wet. This is not waterproof, so you want to be aware. So you want to cover it maybe. There is a bag with the chairs, or just taking a regular bag and covering that up. And then the motor controller, the main brain, is actually mounted underneath the seat. That would be something that you don't want to submerge or get really wet either. So it's really maybe keeping it lightly clean and keeping the debris from building up, and then plugging it in. It's plugging in those batteries, getting it to the maintenance mode, and then getting it ready for the next time out. Thanks for watching. Appreciate that. If you have any questions, they're actually, hopefully you have an owner's manual, or you can actually go to actiontrackchair.com. You can actually see an owner's manual right online, and there's also a section on the internet that has a frequently asked questions part. It's underneath the About tab, right on actiontrackchair.com. So if there's any questions, you can actually refer to that or call your local distributor. Thanks for your time. Appreciate you watching.